I'm Carla Pereira, KC1HSX, and this is ARRL Audio News, your weekly summary of news, features, and opinion from ARRL headquarters in Newington, Connecticut. For listeners who rebroadcast ARRL Audio News on repeaters, listen for the Morse code K character, followed by 4 seconds of silence. That's your cue to momentarily stop transmitting so that your repeater timer can reset. And now, our top stories. The 2017 solar eclipse QSO party is history, and while logs are still coming in, the preliminary participation numbers look good, according to Nathaniel Frisell, W2NAF of Hamsci. Although the final numbers are not yet in, preliminary reports show that over 670,000 spots were detected by the reverse beacon network, and over 542,000 spots were reported to PSK Reporter. Frisell said overall the event went well. He is encouraging anyone who took part in the activity to submit a log by September 30th. Once their logs are submitted, participants will receive a digital certificate of participation. At Maxim Memorial Station, W1AW in Newington, Connecticut, the focus was more on keeping on top of any emergency situations that could arise from the thousands of visitors converging along the narrow strip of totality. ARRL Emergency Preparedness Manager Mike Corey, KI1U, and his assistant Ken Bailey, K1FUG, checked into and monitored the SaturnNet on 20 meters. They also monitored the Interoperability Channel 1 on 60 meters for coordination with federal partners. W1AW Station Manager Joe Karsha, NJ1Q, checked into WindLink nodes on 40 meters for any possible traffic. Many amateur radio special event stations were also on the air along the path of totality on August 21st. Veteran broadcast listener Bill Feit, NG3K in Maryland, conducted an informal propagation experiment on the AM broadcast band, listening on 1070 kilohertz, which he reported came alive with many signals at about 1830 UTC. Elsewhere, an initial analysis of solar eclipse RF seismograph measurements by Alex Schwartz, VE7DXW, and his modulation-demodulation software radio group has suggested that the effect of the brief interruption in solar radiation within an approximately 70-mile wide strip had minimal overall effect on radio propagation. The scanning RF seismograph is a real-time HF propagation monitoring tool. With a revised FCC Form 605 soon going into effect, the National Conference of Volunteer Examiner Coordinators has updated its unofficial NCVEC Form 605 that's used at volunteer examination sessions. The revised NCVEC Form 605 now must be used at exam sessions effective August 21st. Both the new FCC and NCVEC forms ask applicants if they have been convicted of a felony in any state or federal court. This conforms with FCC requirements to evaluate an applicant's qualifications to hold any FCC-issued license. The FCC has been asking this same question on other forms, and its omission on Form 605 was an apparent oversight. An applicant's response and explanation to the felony question, now included on NCVE Form 605, will be used to determine eligibility to be a commission licensee. If the answer to the felony question is yes, the applicant must submit to the FCC, separately from NCVEC Form 605, a statement explaining the circumstances. Such applications will be held for a basic qualification review, something the FCC already does for other licensed radio services. The FCC's Wireless Telecommunications Bureau has said that an affirmative answer to the felony question does not mean that an application will be denied automatically. An applicant's answer to the felony question will be available via the Universal Licensing System, unless the applicant requests separately that it be kept confidential. VECs will not handle statement and confidentiality requests. These must be filed with the FCC by the applicant. New NCVEC 605 forms and an applicant information sheet have been published. VEC teams should discard all existing versions of the NCVEC Form 605 as they are no longer valid. The FCC has indicated that all VECs must begin submitting this additional data starting on September 7th. The NCVEC decided to make August 21st the effective date to accommodate mail schedules and the Labor Day holiday.
I'm Steve Ford, WB8IMY, and I'm speaking with Norm Fusaro, W3IZ, the ARRL Radio Sport Department Manager. And one of the things he manages quite a bit is Logbook of the World. Norm, for those people who don't know what it is, can you just really quickly explain what Logbook of the World is?
Sure, Steve. Logbook of the World is it's basically a QSO matching engine. People from all over the world, the verified users, upload their ADI files, and it just continually looks for matches, and it's a way to confirm contacts to be used for awards such as the XCC, Worked All States, and stuff like that. What makes Logbook different than any other ADI file upload is all the users are verified, and their files are sent with an electronic signature. That's what makes it unique.
Oh, okay. And do you have a rough idea how many confirmations we have right now, approximately?
Oh, it's in the millions of confirmations. Yes, in fact, we're approaching 1 billion QSOs.
Wow,
which includes busted calls and stuff, but still, it's multi-millions of matches, and there's 94,000 registered users right now. In fact, every DXCC entity on the list currently is represented in the Logbook of the World right now. Yes.
That's amazing. Now, I still occasionally will get emails from people that will say they would like to use Logbook of the World, but gee, it's too hard. Is it really that difficult?
I don't know, Steve. It's basically involves putting, your call sign into a box, using a drop-down menu to pick your country, your name and address, your email. I mean, it doesn't sound too difficult to me. I mean, if you were going to order paper QSL cards from a printer, you'd have to provide all that information. So it's not too awfully difficult, That's getting started. And then to upload QSOs, the application the EU's is called TQSL, and it's free. That's what manages your call sign certificates, your station locations, and upload certificates. You click a button. It says upload, assign and upload a log to Logbook of the World, and it takes care of everything. Most logging programs will integrate TQSL with their logging program, so it's seamless.
So it's a lot easier than most people think it is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, all you have to do is follow the instructions.
Okay, thanks, Norm. And now with this week's satellite update, here's Bruce Page, KK5DO.
Tuesday, August 15th, Jerry N0JY, AMSAT Vice President of Engineering, delivered RAD-FXSat, our AMSAT Fox 1B CubeSat, built in partnership with Vanderbilt University, to Cal Poly University. RAD-FXSat, or Fox 1B, was successfully integrated into the P-Pod CubeSat deployment container the next day, along with her pod mates MakerSat 0 and EagleSat. Launch qualification vibration testing of the integrated P-Pod was completed on August 17th. The P-Pod will next be mounted on the ULA Delta II rocket for launch no earlier than October 12th. At the conclusion of integration and testing, Jerry commented, quote, "Many thanks to the Cal Poly, TIVAC, and NASA personnel who we performed the integration with, to the MakerSat 0 and EagleSat team members, and to my West Coast AMSAT CubeSat wingman, Al Vasso, for a successful and fun day," unquote. Look for photos and more news to be published in the AMSAT Journal. Thanks to Jerry N0JY and the AMSAT News Service for this story. This is Bruce Page, KK5DO, for the ARRL Audio News.
I'm Steve Ford, WB8IMY, with the propagation forecast for August 25th, 2017. Despite some major sunspots marching across the solar surface, we've dodged the bullet when it comes to M-class solar flares, at least so far. The other good news is that there are no longer any coronal holes on the Earth-facing side of the sun, which means that HF conditions should improve. We've had some minor geomagnetic storms earlier in the week, but those should subside, if they haven't already. VHF enthusiasts should watch for weather-related band openings in the south and southeast from the tropical storm activity taking place down there. And while it may be late in the summer, 6 meters is still very much alive. Chances are you'll find those FT8 digital operators on 50.313 megahertz making the best of band openings that seem to come and go almost every day.
And that concludes ARRL Audio News for this week. Our thanks to all contributors to this week's report. ARRL Audio News is produced by the American Radio Relay League, the National Association for Amateur Radio. For more information on amateur radio or the ARRL, visit us on the web at arrl.org. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter by searching for ARRL. If you have a question or comment about ARRL Audio News, email us at audionews@arrl.org. This program is copyright ARRL, all rights reserved. 73, and thanks for listening.